Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are really diving into something major. Chapter 9 of The Great Unraveling.
Oh, yeah. Book 1 of the Logos War Saga.
Exactly. And this chapter, the technician, it feels like at the point where everything changes, the theory stops, and the violence starts.
It really is the pivot point. For the first 8 chapters, we've been dealing with the fallout of Jaren Miles discovering the Sinton. This idea that reality is basically information, that it can be edited.
A huge reality-breaking discovery made by this brilliant kind of outcast PhD candidate.
And that discovery, that emergence, it inevitably triggered a response from continuity, this very powerful, very shadowy agency run by director Helen Castor. Her whole mission is stability, keeping things as they are.
And she sees Jaren not as a person, but as a potential system failure, right? Like an unacceptable risk.
Absolutely. She's haunted by that Challenger disaster framework. The single tiny flaw, the O-ring that brought everything crashing down. To her, Jaren is that O-ring for reality itself.
Which brings us to the end of Chapter 8. Her analysis is done, the models have run, and the conclusion is just cold. Purge the variable. Her final order. Contain the source.
And Chapter 9 picks up immediately. It's the execution of that order. This is where we see the shifts from, philosophical threat to boots-on-the-ground tactical action.
It's fascinating how it's described. The order isn't shouted or anything dramatic.
No, not at all. Contain the source. It's just digitally translated instantly.
Yeah.
It becomes this cascade of instructions absorbed by the systems in the archive, their headquarters.
It's so sterile, almost bureaucratic. Like filing a report, not ordering an assassination.
That's continuity's whole deal, isn't it? They don't see themselves as spies or assassins in the, classic sense. They're more like planetary systems administrators.
Yeah, managing data integrity on a global scale. It's chilling.
And you see that perfectly in the work order that gets sent to the agent, the technician.
Right, the file itself. Encrypted, single recipient, no paper trail, obviously.
And the subject line. Just a string of letters and numbers. A work order designation. Nothing personal, nothing human about it.
The details inside are just as cold. Target, Mr. Jaren Miles. Location, University Research Annex 3.
Then the objective. That's where it really hits you. Isolate. Acquire. Sanitize.
Sanitize. Not eliminate, not neutralize. Sanitize, like cleaning up a spill.
Priority. Absolute. It reads like instructions for handling, hazardous waste, not ending a human life.
That language is so deliberate, it tells you everything about how continuity operates and how its agents think. Jaren isn't an enemy combatant.
No, he's a corrupted data point, a glitch in the system.
If you think of reality as code, then the technician isn't a murderer. He's just debugging.
Exactly, scrubbing the error. That detachment, that specific terminology, it's how they justify it all. It allows them to act without maybe the burden of conscience. They see themselves as restoring order, preventing chaos.
It's like an ethical firewall they've built. By defining Jaren as a system error, eliminating him becomes maintenance. Necessary preventative maintenance to stop a global crash.
Precisely. Which leads us right to the agent himself, the technician. We need to talk about him because he's not your typical fantasy killer.
Not at all. He's defined purely by the job title, a restorer of system integrity. That's it.
The text makes a point of saying his face is impassive. Emotion is irrelevant. He's not angry, he's not greedy, he's just performing a function.
He's the perfect extension of Castor's logic, a tool, a finely calibrated instrument for a specific task. He doesn't even get a name.
And that lack of identity makes him incredibly unnerving. He's just pure, detached competence. And his gear, this is where the science fantasy element really shines.
Oh yeah, the toolkit is something else. It's not just advanced tech, it feels tailored to the specific weirdness Jaren has uncovered.
Let's start with the weapon. It's custom made. And it fires non-magnetic ceramic composite flechettes.
Okay, that detail jumped out at me too. Why non-magnetic? Why ceramic?
Well, think about where Jaren works. Annex 3. He calls it the Forge.
Right, it's packed with salvaged high-end computers, maybe superconductors, lots of powerful electromagnetic fields.
Exactly. A standard metal bullet, or anything ferrous, might be useless in there. It could get deflected, maybe even stopped entirely if the environment is magnetically charged.
Wow.
Or worse, maybe Jaren could even manipulate it if he could, somehow control things locally with his Sinton discovery.
So the ceramic rounds bypass all that? They're immune to magnetic fields?
Immune to magnetic fields, harder to detect with standard scanners, and it also suggests continuity knows exactly what kind of environment they're sending him into. They're anticipating dealing with something that might mess with fundamental forces.
It shows their intel is top-notch. They know the potential risks, even if Jaren himself is still reeling from his discovery, they didn't just send muscle, they sent precision.
And this obsession with being undetectable carries over to his transport. He rolls up in this super nondescript sedan.
But it's anything but ordinary underneath.
All right, it's got a shifting hologram license plate and a silent electric whisper engine.
The hologram plate, that's brilliant. It's not about being invisible. It's about making the record of its presence disappear. Any camera catches the plate. By the time someone checks, it's a different number, or maybe it never existed.
Total deniability, erasing the trail in real time. It speaks to their resources and their level of system infiltration. They're not just changing a database entry somewhere.
They're manipulating perception itself using advanced tech, creating a verifiable lie on the fly.
Which flows perfectly into how he actually gets inside the annex. This sequence really showcases continuity's power.
He doesn't, kick down the door or pick a lock.
No, he doesn't even hack the campus network in the traditional sense. He accesses it using the highest level administrative credentials.
Credentials the university's own IT people have no idea even exist.
That's the scary part. It implies continuity didn't break in, they were already inside, they helped build the system maybe. Or they just have a back door to everything. They're not fighting the system, they are the system, on some hidden level.
The ultimate sysadmin privilege for planet Earth. That's terrifying.
And what he does with that access, he watches the guards on their own security monitors.
Yeah.
Then he just loops the last 5 minutes of footage.
While simultaneously disabling the magnetic lock on the fire door he needs.
The result? It's described as a perfect, silent system lie. For the campus security system, the next 10 minutes, the duration of his operation, they just won't exist. No record, no alerts, nothing.
He erases the event horizon before the event even occurs. It's incredibly efficient.
And his physical disguise matches this level of planning. He moves with this fluid, economical grace,
Right.
dressed as a university maintenance worker.
In dark gray overalls, right? Perfect camouflage.
It's genius who questions a maintenance worker.
Yep.
They have legitimate reasons to be anywhere, anytime, carrying tools, accessing utility panels, near electrical conduits.
He's visually unremarkable, blends right in, like the silent car engine designed to be ignored.
So the perfect operative, with the perfect gear, perfect access, perfect disguise, enters the annex. Which brings us to the climax. The moment it all goes wrong for continuity.
Yeah, the tension here is incredible. All that build-up across the first 2 acts, and it snaps right here.
And we find Jaren at his lowest point, really. Still completely shaken from seeing the Sinton back in Chapter 5.
Trying to ground himself, splashing water on his face in a custodian's closet. The water tastes metallic, adding to the disorientation. He's just totally vulnerable.
Completely off guard, lost in his own head, trying to make sense of the impossible thing he witnessed.
Then the technician enters. That soft metallic click of the fire door. It's so quiet, so final.
He raises the weapon. Sleek, black, efficient. And in that instant, all Jaren's theoretical physics, his complex equations, his world-changing discovery, none of it matters.
It all comes down to the cold, simple finality of that gun barrel pointed at him. Theory meets brute force.
And it looks like it's over. Continuity's plan is working perfectly. The technician is about to scrub the error. Castor's prediction holds.
But then, the twist. The appearance of Ben Carter.
Ben Carter. The character we were introduced to way back in Chapters 1 and 2. The one described as gregarious, oblivious, whose mind ran on rails.
He was set up as the complete opposite of Jaren. Safe, predictable, part of the academic furniture Jaren despised. The absolute last person you'd expect.
And the brilliance of it is using that perceived mediocrity as the ultimate cover. We, the readers, dismissed him just like continuity probably did.
He emerges from behind the door holding a wrench. A big, heavy industrial wrench.
Not some high-tech gadget, just a tool. And his first line, it's perfect. Not a yell, not a warning shot, just calm, conversational.
I wouldn't. Delivered totally evenly. It just stops the technician cold.
And then he follows up with something that proves he knows exactly what's going on. He says something like, you must be new. They usually send someone with more experience.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay, so Ben knows about continuity. He knows their agents, their methods. He's implying he's dealt with them before.
It completely reframes his character. He wasn't oblivious. He was undercover. The friendly, unremarkable grad student was actually a guardian, watching Jaren all along.
That changes everything. Jaren wasn't alone in his fight against this giant shadow organization. He had protection right there, hidden in plain sight. Ben's cover wasn't just good. It was perfect because it was boring.
You have to wonder how long Ben has been there, what his real story is. But in this moment, his tactical move is just beautiful. It mirrors continuity's own philosophy.
How so?
Well, the technician targets the person, the glitch Jaren. Ben targets the system that allows the technician to operate.
Ah, right. He doesn't try to fight the technician head on. He knows he probably can't win that.
Exactly. The technician is too fast, probably armored, definitely more skilled in combat. So Ben goes for the environment. He throws that heavy steel wrench.
Not at the man.
But at the main electrical conduit box on the wall right next to him.
Brilliant. It's a physical system crash. He's introducing chaos where continuity demands order.
It's the ultimate denial of service attack, but in the real world. Continuity relies on technology, sensors, light control. Ben just pulls the plug on all of it.
The description of the impact is intense. Blinding white sparks, a huge CRAC, and then total darkness. Every light, every screen, every server in the annex just dies.
Plunged into absolute silence and blackness, it's instantly disorienting, especially for the technician who relies on sight and systems. Ben didn't hack the system, he broke it physically.
The technician fires twice, blindly, just reacting on instinct, but the advantage is gone.
And Ben uses that chaos perfectly. Grabs Jaren, shoves him towards the fire door, yelling at him to run. Don't stop for anything!
Pure survival instinct kicking in. The calculated assassination attempt dissolves into a frantic escape into the dark. The sanitization is officially interrupted.
Which leads us into the immediate fallout. What does the technician do next? And this, again, tells us so much about him and continuity.
He doesn't panic. He doesn't chase blindly.
No. He relies on his training. He's in darkness, but he has gear, right?
Yeah.
A multi-spectrum imager. He assesses the situation, and he faces a choice.
Pursue the targets Jaren and this unexpected guardian, Ben, who are now fleeing into the night, or secure the site.
Secure the lab, the hardware, the data from the Sinton experiment. It's a classic dilemma.
Yeah.
Capture the source of the problem or contain the results.
And he chooses to secure the site.
He prioritizes the primary asset, the hardware, the physical evidence of Jaren's discovery. He lets the humans go, for now.
Okay, is that the right call? From continuity's perspective, I mean.
From their cold, logical, systems-based view, probably yes. The data, the experiment, that's the core asset. If that gets out or is destroyed, the secret is compromised regardless.
Mm-hmm.
They can always hunt Jaren and Ben later. The immediate priority is locking down the physical evidence.
I get the logic, but it feels like a mistake. They just confirmed Jaren isn't just a glitch. He's a glitch with a highly capable protector who knows about them. Letting them escape seems risky.
It is risky, absolutely. But think about it this way. Jaren is the emergent variable. Ben is now a known, albeit dangerous, variable. The hardware, the Sinton experiment itself, represents the magnitude of the problem. Securing it defines the boundaries of the threat. He might see it as stabilizing the core issue first. He acknowledges the system failed by missing Ben, but he hasn't failed his primary directive. Secure the asset.
Okay, I see the rationale. Cold comfort, maybe. And then he does one last thing in the dark.
Right. He updates the file. He accesses the system again, presumably through his own secure comms. He's not writing a failure report. He's adjusting the threat assessment.
Jaren Miles is no longer just a simple glitch.
Now the file reads, glitch with a guardian.
Chilling. That one phrase changes everything. The threat level just went way up.
It signals the end of the initial phase. This isn't a simple delete operation anymore. Continuity has to shift gears.
From sanitization to what? Retrieval. Pursuit. It's become way more complex.
Exactly. They can't just erase Jaren now. He has backup, and that backup understands their playbook. They're moving from a surgical strike to a full-blown manhunt, probably involving counterintelligence against Ben.
So this escape, this failure to contain the source, really kicks off the main conflict of the Logos War.
Absolutely. Before this, Jaren was mostly reacting, trying to understand his discovery while sensing danger. Now, the danger is explicit, violent, and he has an ally. The fight moves out of the lab and into the world.
So summing up Chapter 9, what are the big takeaways for you?
Okay, 3 main things, I think. 1, it confirms without a doubt that Jaren Sinton discovery is a genuine reality-level threat. Continuity wouldn't deploy this level of resource otherwise.
2, it crystallizes the nature of continuity. Cold, efficient, bureaucratic, seeing human life as mere data points in their system management.
And 3, the huge twist, Ben Carter. The reveal that the most seemingly mundane character is actually a highly competent guardian completely flips the script.
It changes Jaren's whole situation. He's not alone. We had hints, maybe, with that echo signal from the Sinton itself in Chapter 5, suggesting some kind of digital awareness. But now he has a real physical protector.
And it's such a brilliant narrative move. Continuity is all about predicting variables, right? They saw Jaren coming because he represented new data, an anomaly. But Ben was old data they simply misfiled.
They categorized him as harmless, statistically insignificant background noise. His utter normalcy was the perfect camouflage.
He was the Trojan horse inside their predictive models. Castor focused on the shiny, new, physics-defying problem and completely missed the quiet guy next door.
Which brings us to that final thought to leave everyone with. Think about Director Castor. Her entire worldview is shaped by preventing the Challenger disaster scenario, the unpredicted variable slipping through the cracks.
She acted swiftly, decisively, maybe even ruthlessly, to neutralize Jaren, the variable she did identify, the obvious O-ring.
So, what's going through her mind now? When the report comes back, sanitization failed. Target escaped. And the reason for failure wasn't the target himself, but this statistically insignificant PhD candidate named Ben Carter, the variable she completely failed to model because he was too ordinary.
The guy who just demonstrated that her multi-billion-dollar, globally integrated system of control can be brought to its knees, at least locally, by one guy with good timing and a heavy wrench. Her biggest failure wasn't Jaren emerging. It was failing to see the Guardian hiding right under her nose.
And that, right there, feels like the real start of the Logos War.
Couldn't agree more. It's going to be fascinating to see where it goes in Act 3.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for digging into that one with us.
Anytime. It was a great chapter.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.